Well, the time has finally come. We're now moved on to the final chapter in the whole game. Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, despite the fact that originally we were supposed to do it in Journey Forms of in Halloween, but we decided able to push it a bit forward. So just in case we can able to actually conclude this Let's Play before we move on to the next bunch of those Let's Plays in the future. So, hey, what's up everybody? It is I am the one and only Pac-Man here, and I'm Mighty the Armadillo here. And I'm Ray the Flying Squirrel here. We are back for yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, as always. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of The Simpsons Hit and Run for the Nintendo GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC. So, I believe last time that Mighty the Armadillo has finally managed to able to 100% through everything in terms of level 6, by able to actually going through the final few street races, in addition to likely trying to collect, you know what I mean, the last costume for Bart, and also at the same time though, that he did somehow manage to able to actually just to tackle through several stuff, no problemo so far. So today, for this point, ladies and gentlemen, here we go on to the final level in the whole entire game, which appears to be Buddy Forms of level 7. And as you can tell, we are about to be able to take control of Homer Simpson again after the events of level 1. So as you can tell at this point in time, is the fact that we are actually going back into level 1 and level 4 again, except this time that it usually takes place in the forms of in a Halloween themed level, which is more accurately based off of the forms of the Treehouse of Horror series of episodes throughout the majority of the Simpsons seasons. So ever since when it firstly introduced the forms of the Treehouse of Horror episode based on the forms of in season 2, and then it continues on and onwards. So even though it's hard to explain about this because it has been about a couple of days since we actually last played this game, especially noticeable about the fact that it's about time that we finally managed able to get back into this game after the events that I somehow managed able to recently complete the actual Let's Play of, well, the forms of SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated recently. So obviously, because we've already 100% everything in the game right now, so we might as well able to figure ourselves that we might as well able to hit back into this game after about 2 months almost since we haven't exactly touched upon this game for a while. So yeah, we've decided able to do it this way. So yeah, let's go ahead and purchase the Donut Homer outfit because it looks kind of weird, but also hilarious at the same time, because you know how Homer really loves donuts so much. Yeah, especially true though for this point, Pac-Man. It really certainly has becomes true. So anyway though, as you probably already noticed by now, that every once in a while though is the fact that every single Wasp cameras is actually now going to get a lot more aggressive at this point. So, meaning about the fact that, well, you still need to rely on the forms of the shields, and also we need to hit those Wasp cameras twice, so just in case we can able to once again destroy them. So I think, relatively speaking, at this point in time, that we might able to actually stumble across the final 8 missions that we might as well able to actually just to tackle through. So yeah, and every once in a while though, this will be the last time we're going to be seeing these Wasp cameras, in addition to those, you know, collectible cards we need to collect, because otherwise we've only down to about 7 of them left until we're able to actually realize that you remember the forms of how the fact that, and ever since in level 3, that basically you remember what the fact that, well, we need to able to get that special ticket. Well, basically we need to collect all of those collectible cards while doing so. So as a result though, imagine if we're able to actually get ourselves every single collector card, then obviously that we will miraculously try to able to actually get something that's very rewarding if you manage to able to accomplish certain things like this. However though, it's only accessible if you try to able to select a mission or specifically level 3, because obviously that'll be the only requirement in order able to do it that way. So yeah, as you can see, we're now going to be driving on to the 70s sports car, because if you ever saw that coming, ever since during the course of been one of those street races from the likes of the forms of in level 6, well, because basically now we can able to drive this thing for reals. So yeah, you probably get the idea about that. And also every once in a while though, since that we pretty much already maxed out with the forms of those specific coins to purchase, well, there is actually that one specific item, or to be more specifically, the vehicle, that it might actually roughly cost you about 1,000 coins. So as a result though, that's the perfect example of why that we've decided able to keep on replaying through level 6 all over again. Yeah, just because the deforms are trying to farm some more of those coins will be a lot more easy to manage. Yeah, especially noticeable because, well, we just aren't able to actually just sit for you guys. We're able to actually just try to grind as many of those coins as we possibly could. You know, it's kind of like the same thing that happened to me though, whenever I was trying to play through SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated so far. Well, usually for the sake of the forms of how the fact you know we've already done that Let's Play, then obviously I did manage to also grind for more of those shiny objects, just like the forms of the coins in this game, so yeah, you probably get the idea about that. So, level gag right there for watching the TV, so... Anyways, let's have a look at the progression, 16.7, so it doesn't seem that much though, but regardless of such though, we've only got about a few collectibles left, so...
Dad, the zombies are on the way! Shouldn't we do something?
Not now, Lisa. I'm trying to listen to the baseball game.
It's the top of the 7th, and... Oh, God! Zombies! They're devouring the crowd! Now they're eating my brain! Oh, the pain! Ah!
Oh, all right. I'll get us some survival supplies. Stupid Brockman getting eaten by zombies.
So from here, we were able to actually begin with the first mission, so we need to collect certain supplies, so just in case we don't want to let these zombies kill us. Because as far as like I said before, that this is obviously based off from the forms of the Treehouse of Horror series. So as a result though, every single townspeople has been apparently transformed into ourselves into zombie-like creatures, except for Nerd Flanders here.
Flanders, give me your first aid kit.
Well, I was hoping to save it for Rodder and Totter to, you know, bandage their brain-eater boo-boos.
Look, just rub a Bible on them.
Will that work to fend off zombies?
Who am I, Dr. Science?
Oakley-dokley, here's the first aid kit.
Daddy, if the zombies are dead, why aren't they in heaven? I hope my brain feeds a poor hungry zombie.
Oh god, our guy's able to be quick. Although, don't forget though, you need to get the first aid kit. Oh, what the heck am I doing? I keep thinking of driving off and then, yeah, that pretty much wastes my time, so... Yeah, that you're gonna have to able to be fast on this, because as far as I'm aware, in the later missions now, it's gonna get much more tougher at this point, especially because now with the forms of some shorter amount of time limit, but in addition to that though, you have to be so fast if you're trying to able to go through several segments of this mission, so, yeah, let's just go ahead and, park from here, and obviously I'm not going to be taking control of this level, just like the forms of how it does it on level 1 and level 4. Yeah, because kind of think about it, you're always able to actually take control when it comes to the forms of the Evergreen Terrace segments, because as far as I'm aware that, you know, I've already did manage to tackle through level 2 and 5, and then Mighty did somehow tackle through level 3 and 6, so as a result though, that it might be seems to be the case. So anyways, let's go and collect the board. Now we need to drive to Mo's house, which I think it is somewhere about roughly over towards over there, so I'm gonna have to be fast on this. Although thankfully, if you talk to Mo right there, thankfully the time limits does not activate until you hop into the car, so that should be good.
Mo, I need your chainsaw to chop up attacking zombies.
But then how will I defend myself?
Mo. Shouldn't the weapons go to save people who have loved ones?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think I made my point.
Well, better go comb my hair before the zombies get here. My life stinks.
Well then, let's go ahead and get the chainsaw, and we need to rush back into the Simpsons house, and thankfully, well, we can now able to actually drive through that particular spooky bit, which I believe unlike the forms of how it does it on level 1, and especially noticeable, if I recall correctly, level 4 or something like that I don't think you can able to actually drive from here, like the Springfield summary. So as a result though, you can now drive through here, because it's obviously like a Halloween themed segment, so yeah, at least that might be something to behold, because obviously performing shortcuts is actually a little bit tad easier. However though, there's some particular segments that's been blocked off, but first off, let me go ahead and drive to the school playgrounds, which I get the strong sense of feeling with the school playgrounds might be the actual main focus of the forms of the majority of the missions nowadays, so... But first off, I need to quickly try to able to collect the collector card by I don't know, doing two different methods, I suppose. Either the easy way, by simply just able to actually just to drive to it, like right here, or you can able to do the hard way by trying to deal with some intense platforming. But ultimately, though, that, you know, Pac-Man is already done with this. So anyways, let's go and purchase the zombie car. So, I think the zombie car might be helpful for one of those missions coming up. So in this case, though, I somehow spent about 500 coins on it. So, anyway, so 22.8% done. So, yeah, potentially speaking, we are getting very close towards the end. So I suppose a few things we want to explain for this points today, because obviously that ever since it knows a couple of Let's Plays has been finished so far. Well, apart from the fact that recently Tiana, she still continued things on with the forms of Banjo-Kazooie, Grunty's Revenge so far. So as a result, though, today's day is of course the 22nd of July today, in this case in 2022 today. So at this point in time, with the forms of the majority of this game, that we're also able to actually upload this particular game for today, which is Friday, and then vice versa for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday again. So as a result, though, we can hopefully guarantee we're also able to finish this game up. And say applies the forms of Banjo-Kazooie, Grunty's Revenge at some point, maybe at some point in next week, if roughly. So yeah, that might be worth a while for able to actually just to finish those Let's Plays during the exact same time, for the sake of the forms of the majority of the week. Well, specifically next week, mind you. So yeah, because as a result, though, that I think next week, for those of you the Xenoblade Chronicles fans out there, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 will be releasing on the Nintendo Switch next week. So yeah, for those of you interested with that specific stuff, whilst unlike us, though, we wasn't exactly a massive fan of the series, though, I must be honest here, but again, it's just our opinions. So as a result, though, that it might be something like a different taste, I suppose. So yeah, because as a result, though, we did manage to try the first game out, between two versions, actually. One on the new 3DS, and one for the forms of the Switch version. That basically we just couldn't seem able to actually play it that longer, just because I'm not a big fan of the battle system and stuff like that, as well as although don't get me wrong, the Switch version's presentation is much better, but if there's like imagine this, right? If the actual Nintendo Switch's lifespan is actually going to be slowly fading, then basically we're most able to get the Switch version again. So just in case, we'll give the game a third chance. So, but we'll see what happens there, especially noticeable if there are some new games coming out for it. So, like I've already mentioned about it loads of times, ever since and during the course of well, you know what I mean, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. So, but I don't think there's any point I can able to mention about that stuff, though. So, anyway, so it looks like I somehow managed to able to destroy another set of wasp cameras on that particular segment right there. So, I guess that's something, I suppose. So yeah, relatively speaking, though, it's just the fact that at this point in time, it's the fact that most people seem to say that level 7 is by far the trickiest world. But I won't say it's nowhere near as hard as the forms of how it does it on level 6, in our honest opinion. But that's only mainly because that, for the most part, several of those objectives, for the sake of the forms of level 7, is pretty straightforward. Despite the fact that it might actually be a little bit more tad difficult than the forms of how it does it on the past levels. So, to be expected at this point, because it's at the very end of the game. So, however, there are some collector cards that might actually be considered tricky to get. So, but at least best of luck for you, Pac-Man, I suppose. But yeah, regardless of everything else, though, it's just the fact that there's not much else that we can honestly try to talk about, because, well, unfortunately, though, we're going back into the forms of our computers going lacking again. But as a result, though, it still runs quite well on certain programs, except for our video wave programs. Oh, shoot, I just realized that in addition with the forms of the collector card, there was also the wasp camera in there as well. Oh, kind of think about it, that you might able to actually get both things all at once. So, but you have to deal with the forms of that specific turning nozzle thing right there in order to able to land on it, and in that way, you could potentially try to able to do some bit of platforming skills here and there. So yeah, we do apologize for the forms of artifact with the massive amount of you know, a comeback delay for this game, because obviously after the events of, you know, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated Let's Play, alongside with the forms of the Super Mario 3D All-Stars in the Super Mario Sunshine game. So as a result though, that we are definitely getting there. 4 other Let's Plays need to be finished by the forms of in 2022 so far. Well, mind you though, Ray, is the fact that we're still in the forms of in July already, in this case the 7th month of the forms of 2022. Oh yeah, gonna think about it though, I can't even believe that it's been about a year ago since when Tokyo 2021 Summer Olympics. I know technically it's still say Tokyo 2020, but every now and then most people are gonna usually call it Tokyo 2021 Summer Olympics has been held. Despite it's a bit lackluster in comparison to the forms of other Olympics and stuff like that, but I will have to admit though, it is still a blast to watch in my opinion. I mean, surely they'll give, you know, Tokyo 2020 Summer Olympics, or should I say Tokyo 2021 Summer Olympics, some credit for it, because it contains some very cool, recognizable video game music from the sake of the forms of some Japanese video games and stuff like that, which is always impressive in my book. And especially noticeable with certain events looks pretty cool, like, you know what I mean, with the forms of sports climbing, as well as surfing, and also on top of that, karate, and even especially noticeable with baseball, and let's not forget, skateboard. So, yeah, that might be something worth a while, don't you think? Oh yeah, let's mention about the forms of that particular different icon that we can able to show off at least once. This what appears to be Wakey Race, which basically functions as like a time limit, or should I say, time trials of Syndrome. And basically though is the fact that you have to pay coins, by the way, in order able to actually just to participate in the race. However though, if you beat a certain amount of time, then basically you can get yourself some coins. So, but I don't think there's anything right to home about. I've no idea why I say things weirdly enough at this point today, because like I said before, that it has been about, you know, almost 2 months ago since we've last touched this game, because obviously with certain Let's Plays we need to be finished. So, yeah, as a result though, unfortunately Pac-Man sometimes usually messes up with this particular race. So as a result though, I think we're gonna have to able to cancel that mission. Although the only rewards you can only get is of course coins, which is only for bragging rights, I guess. Although, it might be good for you, especially noticeable if you're trying to farm some more coins that way. But at this point in time, it seems kind of worthless in my opinion, so yeah, we're just gonna have to able to skip that for now, just to show you guys of how the fact of how this works, so yeah, it looks like for the most part that we ended up on the forms of the school playground, and as you can see, there's a mysterious UFO, which we have no idea how to deal with it. But first off, I need to able to actually just to search for something first, to be more specifically with all these collectibles in mind, for the sake of the forms of more wasp cameras, and as well as the forms of some collector cards. Yeah, and as you can tell, that this particular path right there, that it was supposed to able to lead us to the forms of in, let's just say, Mr. Burns' mansion or something like that. Basically, this path is now blocked, so yeah, that's a little bit different in comparison to the forms of how it does it in level 1 and level 4. So I don't suppose we can able to actually explore through nuclear power plant, or to be more specifically, Mr. Burns' mansion with all that cool checkerboard and stuff like that for the chessboard. So yeah, because the main focus is that, like I said before, it's going to usually take place in the forms within the school itself. So because of that though, yeah, that's how it usually explains about the forms of level 7 as a result. So, anyways, let's go and kill another one of those wasp cameras there. And, oh geez, 2003, the same number as when this game came out. Yeah, kind of think about it, between the forms of 3 of those games most likely, which are The Simpsons Hit and Run, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, and Piglet's Big Game, I consider that those 3 games combined into one for that particular 2003 year, I will consider that those games are the greatest when it comes to licensed games, because as far as I'm aware, that those games are so fun to play. Especially noticeable with the forms of power fact that despite there's some frustration here and there. So yeah, as a result of that kind of stuff though, we had a really great 3D licensed platformer games during the forms of that particular period of 2003. However, there are a few exceptions though, mind you, but even then, let's not get ahead of ourselves at this point, because well, relatively speaking, we're just to be able to actually just to keep on exploring certain places, and especially noticeable, we can able to go inside the school, so that way we can able to actually just activate more level gags here and there. So I think this will actually be the last time we're going to be able to actually just to continue searching for those level gags, because as far as I'm aware, assuming if Pac-Man might able to actually just to able to buy something, specifically the dirty outfit, and potentially speaking, he'll buy the final outfit, which appears to be the evil outfit. But I'm pretty sure that you're pretty much gonna have to save those two specific outfits and during later time between Monday, Wednesday, potentially speaking. So yeah, because for now on, I'm just gonna pretty much gonna stick around with the donut outfit, or to be more specifically, the transformation, I should say. So
Okay, Living Dead, let's do this and get back to trying to kill each other.
Sounds like plan.
so as you can tell, that like we mentioned this in the past, that basically rather than having you know, Nelson and you know, Milhouse and especially noticeable Ralph were able to take in charge with the forms of those specific race challenges, so instead it's now being hosted by the zombies. So yeah, it makes sense because obviously this particular level is based around in Halloween and stuff like that. So I'm pretty sure you're able to actually talk to the exact same amount of zombies, I'm pretty sure. So basically though is the fact that this will be the final time we're going to be doing some street races. Like for example, this will be the final time we're going to be doing checkpoint races, as well as the forms of the actual time trials, and heck, even especially noticeable with the street race itself too. So but this is what I mean when it comes to the fact that the difficulty might start to get a little bit more tougher at this point, because not only with the actual AI, but also the forms of the track layout is actually going to get a little bit more aggressively tough. So yeah, brace ourselves to this point, guys, especially noticeable because this will be the last time we're going to be doing these kind of stuff. So but hopefully you get the job done if you manage to able to try to be more precise with all that specific controls and all that stuff. So but hopefully you get around into that. So
He used the cheat code.
and it looks like I'm almost there. So oh Jesus Louise. Okay. Yeah, you still need to able to watch out for all these pedestrians and all the other jazz. So I think where we're supposed to able to actually just make our way to the actual nuclear power plants, basically. Yeah, I get the feeling about that part, especially noticeable. I can definitely tell what the actual destination is going to lead us to. So, yep, you somehow win the race. So, how's that for that one? And yeah, that's all the zombies they have to say, because they always speak in like a zombie-like languages and stuff like that, which, you know, makes sense because zombies couldn't able to actually speak properly. So anyways, let's head back to mission 2 again, so that way we can able to do a fast travel and stuff like that, and begin the actual mission proper. So, yo, let's get started.
Hey, you there, Smelly Sam. What's going on?
The alien craft is using some sort of tractor beam to suck up trespassers to their doom. Worst effects ever.
But that's real.
Worst effects ever.
What's with the cool black car?
If my knowledge of sci-fi movies is correct, which it is, the black car is an advanced probe for the mother ship. Now, if you're through, I will spend my last hours on Earth complaining about movies on the internet.
The gift of life is wasted on you.
Yes, I recommend you obtain a zombie car. It will protect you well, but it runs on human brains. Slight drawback.
I got plenty of those.
And a good thing we did manage to draw up the zombie car to begin with, so yeah, we'll go ahead and then find the telephone box, so just in case we can able to actually select the zombie car, and then once you choose that, then we'll begin the mission proper. So, in fact, let me see here. Oh, sweet, there was actually a hover car in there. But, we'll have to save that for later. So, long black probies. So, basically, we need to follow that vehicle at all times, just like Informs of how it does it from the likes of the previous missions. So, yeah, I think kind of think about it, though, that every once in a while, trying to keep up with, you know, the vehicles at this point right now is actually going to get a lot tougher. Especially noticeable because there's going to be a lot of emphasis on hit and runs sometimes, especially noticeable if you accidentally manage to able to drive into not only pedestrians but also some street lamps or street lights, whatever you want to be more specific. Or on top of all that stuff though is the fact that if you try to drive into zombies, that actually increases the actual hit and run a bit more. I totally get it because of how the fact that we don't want to able to run over people, but ultimately speaking though, about the fact that if these zombies come into play, then basically it will still activate the hit and run gauge meter no matter what, so... But relatively speaking though, yeah, I somehow accidentally activate the hit and run... Oh god! Ah, screw you. You somehow got screwed over by that stupid bush on top of that as well, so you somehow failed, so... Oh, this is gonna get really tough. Although, there are some couple of missions that are pretty much self-explanatory coming up, but I think relatively speaking though actually, is the fact that for the majority of the forms of level 7 and onwards, that what we would decide to do is the fact that we might as well occasionally manage to able to actually go for optional stuff, to be more specifically with all that, you know, street races, along with the forms of trying to find the rest of the level gags, and here and there. So as a result though, and also at the same time, trying to deal with the forms of the street races here and there, before we tackle through the later portions of the story missions, because obviously this is the final level in the game, so yeah, we can pretty much gonna have to do the opposite way, so that way we were able to actually finish the game by able to actually go for pure 100% completion. Well, aside from the fact that once you're able to actually collect all of the collectible cards, then we can probably hit back onto level 3, and then able to actually get that special reward after doing so. So, yeah, you probably get the idea about that solution's worth noting for, so, yeah, I got to admit, though, is the fact that the zombie car, it's fine for the most part, except the fact that sometimes the handling might be a little bit slightly off, so... As a result of that kind of stuff, though, is the fact that, well, somehow that you just somehow screwed over again, Pac-Man, so... Yeah, because I just cannot even believe I just drove into so many, not only caravans, but also a lot of trees everywhere, and it's just, it's so impossible sometimes. But regardless of everything else though, that again, you can able to retry as many times you wanted to, but I need to be very careful of not to waste so much coins, because obviously I will spend it on, you know, the final few things here and there. So I think, relatively speaking, that you've obviously collected every single costumes in the game now, as well as the forms of that specific, you know, mandatory vehicles to use in certain missions. So as a result, though, I think you've only got about exactly for about 3 vehicles to go, until we're basically done with the forms of the entirety of the Simpsons hit and run. So, yeah, once any forms have been a bonus mission, in this case the final bonus mission in the whole game, and the final 2 vehicles, which needs to be purchased by that particular one of the characters and all that stuff, and then hopefully you would be able to actually just or we, rather, trying to able to actually complete everything throughout the game has to offer, so... Yeah, everything else goes all fine and dandy and everything, so... Actually, kind of think about it, I totally forgot about the forms of that particular ramp you can take, if you somehow managed to able to drive through the flames and stuff like that, so... Anyways, successful attempt, so, huzzah, and there we go. Hi, that does take a bit of while, but hey, at least that's something, I guess. So, anyways, let's now talk to Professor Frank here to see what he has to say. So, yeah, let's just save a game before we do anything else. Especially noticeable, I just really refuse to able to actually lose the progress again if I go back into that godforsaken, you know, mission again. But, either way though, let's just go and do whatever way it takes, so...
I'm glad you're here, my morbidly obese ally. Based on my mathulations, I figured out the alien's weakness. It's nuclear waste. Yuck.
And how does that affect me?
Well, it could save the life of you and your family.
And?
Look, I've loaded my vehicle with nuclear waste from the power plant. It's going to deliver this toxic payload to the alien ship, risking myself and my delicious brain to zombie snacking, which if you've never undergone that, I can tell you it stings.
What a hero. And I never knew his name.
It's Professor John, Frank.
Are you still here?
I like that line. So anyways, let's move on to Pocket Projector. So basically in this mission type, and this is going to be for the majority of the time, during the forms within the later missions throughout the majority of level 7, as you can see, we actually got something in our back. So in this case though, we need to be able to use this thing in order to be able to deal the damage. Remember with the forms of that particular UFO, as we've already spotted through? Well, basically though, is the fact that, well, relatively speaking, first off, we're actually going to be taking control of the hover car. However, like I said before, it is ridiculously fast and pretty cool. However, for toughness wise, it's not the most reliable thing in the world. Especially noticeable, it attempts to brake, and especially noticeable, it will just get smoking every once in a while. So yeah, you probably get the idea of how this car plays out. However, as you can see, as far as what Pac-Man just somehow accidentally smacked onto the wall, basically though, is the fact that if you dare try to bang into something, either the vehicles or walls, basically this particular nuclear waste barrel just somehow explodes, and you have to be able to backtrack for a bit, and then as a result of that kind of stuff though, you have to do this a lot. Like, I think you have to do this for about roughly 4 times for the sake of the forms of level 7. So, yeah, you probably get the idea about that. Especially noticeable, there is that one in particular mission coming up, well, to be more specifically, towards the very end of the game, that it might actually consider this to be one of the hardest missions in the game for some people. Or to be more specifically though, the second hardest mission in the whole game. Just because, well, we'll probably discuss more details about that in trade at some point, possibly next Wednesday in particular, so... Yeah, because for the most part, the first rendition might not be too bad. It's just the fact that you have to be so careful about the forms of your driving skills, especially that, well, again, if you bash into any other objects or vehicles, that usually counts as well. Basically though, you have to backtrack, and then you have to be able to go all the way back to nuclear power plant all over again. Because thankfully, there was actually that particular item you can able to pick up if you somehow screwed up twice, or multitude of times I should say. However though, the only solution there is to it though, is the fact that you have to worry about the time limit as well. So, imagine this, right? If the time runs out, you have to start all over for this particular mission again. So yeah, it might actually take you a couple of tries if you're new to this kind of stuff. Especially noticeable about the fact that I do know for the fact that one of those players out there, who ever experienced the PC version of the game, he obviously got screwed over so many times by the forms of not only crashing into something by complete accident, but also about the fact that, well, relatively speaking, that you might constantly get into hit and run gauge increasing. So, yeah, you probably get the idea about the fact that how level 7 is going to be one of the hardest levels in the game. So, why is it always 7 is always going to be the hardest thing ever when it comes to video game industries? Like, we already know for the fact that for Chaos Emeralds for certain special stages in certain Sonic games, that's one thing. Oh, screw you, you stupid little car. Oh, god damn it. But hopefully I'll get this time, especially noticeable. I have no idea why I'm having so many bad luck situations on this mission though. Although, thankfully though, until when if you get to later missions though, Pac-Man, then you won't be having that much issues from there. It's just the fact that when we're going to be using the hover car to begin with, that it just feels very fragile sometimes. Yeah, I can possibly understand how that seems to be the case, but at least I'm hoping I need to drive super carefully, especially just to be more sturdy enough, so just in case I don't able to actually get all messy around and all that stuff though, but who knows what it is, I think. So oh my god, this is gonna be quite nerve-wracking at points, but at the very least, let's go ahead and try this particular segment again and make sure that none of those vehicles were able to actually bash straight in front of me. Well, thankfully we can able to actually take some shortcuts. However though, I highly recommend you do not go for every single shortcut on this, because most of the time though, if you know, like I said before, if you bash into any other like objects or anything else to be more specific, well, you have to restart this entire process again, and also means you have to go all the way back to the nuclear power plant again if you try to succeed. So, yeah, I think I'm also able to go for that advice. And also take it a bit slowly, so just in case, if you go to this ramp, and if you drove too fast, and if you accidentally bash into the fence, like we almost did right there, well, obviously you have to go all the way back. So, oh, I did not notice there's actually another wasp camera in there as well. So, it might be pretty well hidden as far as I've noticed at first. So, there we go, that particular mission is completed, and of course the next thing we want to do is to entering the school itself. So, that can only be one little thing for this point, right? Because I get the feeling we're gonna have to able to actually explore around on self-explanatory missions to able to go from one segment to the other, but regardless of such though, that might be something worth noting for, so... And I'm afraid that we've almost run out of time for this point. Like, I don't think we can probably get enough time to able to do the next mission. But hopefully, like we said before, that the majority of the uploading schedules on this will be on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday next week. So hopefully we're able to complete this game before the July month will be concluded. So, yeah, I guess we're gonna have to end things off at this point right here, so join us next time for more of Let's Play of The Simpsons Hit and Run. It's the fact that we'll continue going through level 7, and vice versa by collecting more stuff here and there. So we'll see you guys on Monday. Later, fellas. See you dudes later.